What's up, you guys? It's Sarah and welcome to my diabetes supplies haul. So yesterday my dad went to the pharmacy and he picked up 3 months worth of my diabetes supplies, and I thought it'd be interesting to kind of show you guys what I got or what he got. Before I had diabetes, I literally had no idea how much stuff you actually need to have. Like, there's the test strips and the Lancet and insulin obviously and the pen needles and just so much stuff. I had no idea. I also had no idea how much it costed. Just for some context, I'm Canadian, so my healthcare costs are probably similar to those like in Europe and other places that have free healthcare, but it's definitely a lot less expensive than the US. But all this stuff was still pretty expensive. For 3 months of supplies, it cost around $2,000, which is quite a bit. Thankfully, all of it is covered by my parents' insurance, and I'm so grateful for that because $2,000 is a lot of money. And I'm also really thankful that I don't live in the US because I can't even imagine how much more it would cost there, because even just insulin costs so much more, which is a topic for another video. It really sucks how expensive healthcare is in the US, and it's just really frustrating. But I'm not gonna get into that in this video because this is just gonna be me showing you guys what I got. I'll put the receipt on screen so you guys can see what the actual total was. The two things that cost $104.99 were EpiPens, because I also have a lot of allergies, so I refilled my prescription for EpiPens. So if you minus those, everything costed, yeah, about $2,000. So let's just get started. So I don't actually have my insulin in the boxes because it's in the fridge right now, because you're supposed to keep it in the fridge before you open it. And I didn't want to take it out because there's just too much food in there, so I just have the pens I'm using right now. So this is Fiasp, which is the insulin that I may or may not be switching to, but when we filled this prescription, we filled it with Humalog because basically there's just some problems with getting prescriptions sent to different places, because right now I'm back at home for Christmas break, but my nurse and diabetic team are at my university because that's where I live for the majority of the year, plus that's where I got diagnosed and all that stuff. I couldn't get the prescription sent over, plus I wasn't 100% sure if I wanted to switch from Humalog to Fiasp. So right now all of my insulin that I got is Humalog insulin, and they're both short-acting insulin and they essentially do the same thing, and I honestly don't really know which one I like better. But yeah, I got my short-acting insulin, which is the first thing, and I also got my long-acting insulin, which is Lantus. I'm still using Lantus. It's pretty good. Oh, I should also mention how long I use these pens for. So they all have 100 units in each one, and that'll usually last me about 2 to 2.5 weeks. As for my long-acting insulin, I don't use as much as I do with my short-acting, so one of these will basically last me the entire month, because with insulin, once you open it or once you pierce it with a needle for the first time, you can only use it for 30 days, or you're only supposed to use it for 30 days, and then after that you have to throw it away and open a new one. So these would definitely last me longer than 30 days, except you can't use it for longer than that. So I'm probably only going to go through 3 of these within my prescription period. But if I, stop honeymooning, then I might have to increase my dosage, and then I will need more. So relating to insulin, you need needles to inject yourself with it, because these pens don't actually have a needle with it. As you can see, it's just open like this, so you put the pen on top, and the actual pen needles, or the ones I use, look like this. So there's just a little cap, and you open it, take off the little green part inside, and then the needle is there. So I use the BD Nano Pro Ultrafine pen needles in a 4mm length, 32 gauge. I like these needles, they're pretty good. They're apparently the #1 selling pen needle brand in Canada. So good for them. I don't know how many needles I go through, but every time I inject myself, I use a new needle. I know some people don't use a new needle, and I honestly never thought about that, but that just kind of scares me to reuse a needle more than once. I guess you could do it. I would not feel comfortable doing that, and it's covered by insurance, so might as well change it every time, because you don't want to get an infection and then have to go to the hospital, which that doesn't sound very fun. Also relating to needles, I have Lancets, which is what I use to test my blood sugar. I use Microlite colored Lancets. They come in all these fun little colors. So I already had a lancing device, because you don't need to get a new one every 3 months, because you can just use it. And then you put these needles inside of the lancing device, and then you use that to poke your finger to test your blood. You put the blood on the test strips. I use the Contour Next test strips, which goes along with my Contour Next meter. And same thing with the lancing device, I already have a meter, so I didn't need to get a new one. Now with those two things, I don't really use them very often because I have a Freestyle Libre, which I'll talk about in a second. Dad and I were talking, and we thought it was important to get extra just in case either my sensors stop working, or I happen to run out of sensors, or if I just need to test my blood sugar more often because say I'm sick or something like that. So we just got extra, but I still have quite a bit left over from the last time when I got all my prescription stuff, so I'm just gonna have a big supply. But I mean, it's better to have more stuff than less stuff because you don't want to end up in a situation where you can't test your blood sugar. This is the CGM that I use to test my blood sugar or my continuous glucose monitor. It's a Freestyle Libre sensor. And this is the one that I have on the back of my arm that you can kind of see right there through my flannel. Each sensor costs $90, which is really expensive. And you have to change it every 2 weeks because unlike the Dexcom, which is another type of CGM, those ones you can like restart and then it'll last for longer. But with the Freestyle Libre, I'm pretty sure you can't do that, which kind of sucks. And I haven't really had any problems with my sensors so far, like none of them have like broken like halfway through. I did have one that when I was like first inserting it, it like wasn't inserting properly and like the machine thing broke. And then I had to call the company and they replaced it, so it's been fine. I got 8 sensors to cover 3 months, you know, just in case like one of them breaks or anything like that. But those sensors alone at $90 each cost $720, which was basically the majority of the price of my diabetes stuff. And having a CGM is super helpful. Like, you know where your blood sugar is going all the time. You can check it whenever you want and it's super easy. Like, all you have to do is just tap your phone to your sensor. I found it's pretty accurate, and yeah, I could not imagine having to deal with diabetes without a CGM. And even if it wasn't covered by insurance, I feel like I would still try and use it anyway because it's such a life changer. Like, it's so helpful. And last but not least, I got some keto sticks. I haven't actually used keto sticks yet, but these test your P for ketones. If you ever have really high blood sugar and you think you might be in DKA, which is diabetic ketoacidosis, and I'll put a little definition of it here. That's what I had when I first went to the hospital. I think my blood sugar was like 30 something, and yeah, I was in DKA and I had ketones. Hopefully I'll never have to use those, but I think it's helpful to have, also just for like some peace of mind if I ever feel really high and I don't know if I should go to the hospital or not. I can test and just see what I should do. Hey guys, I'm here a bit later because I forgot one thing, which are my Dex4 tablets. I didn't actually pick up one this time, but Dex4 tablets are what I use when I have low blood sugar and I need to bring it up really fast. They're essentially just sugar in a tablet form and you just eat it. So if you have low blood sugar, which is below 4 millimoles per liter, usually I'll eat about like 2 to 3 of these and it usually brings me up. But if not, then I just eat more. I have these in a grape flavor, and to be honest, I thought it was going to be really gross, but the pharmacy only had grape flavor, so I was like, whatever, I guess I'll just buy it. And I actually like it. I think it's better than the orange one, but I don't know. That might just be me. And things like Dex4, you don't have to buy at a pharmacy. Like, some people just eat candy, like they eat like Starburst, or they eat like jelly beans or something like that. Something that just has a lot of simple sugars in it. But I find that Dex4 works pretty well, so that's what I use. And that is all of my diabetes stuff. It's quite a bit. A lot of things that I never really knew were a thing until I got diabetes, and things I never realized were that expensive. Again, I'm just really thankful that my parents have insurance that can cover this, and that I live in Canada where it's not super expensive in the first place. I hope you guys learned something in this video. Maybe you learned about some new diabetes stuff that you didn't know was a thing. Yeah, that's all for me for today, so I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.